Good evening, everybody. It's
Off the Plasterer.
with me, Eric the Plasterer. Been having a few issues with my camera, so if I look a little bit glowy this evening, that'll be why. Oh dear, how's everybody? I thought quite a few people come on when I've got the countdown timer on, and before it finishes the countdown, they all go off again. So we thought after someone suggested it that this week I will try without having the countdown on there. So when people pop on, hello. When people pop on, it's me there straight away. You haven't got to listen to the music or a countdown of the old ticky timer. Evening, everybody. Hopefully my old hang on, double check. Hopefully my old text will be working. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Hopefully you can, and that the music's not too loud. Now let's test it. Let's have a little type myself. Oh, it's working. Yep. Hey, Martin. Hello. Cool. As long as everything's okay. As long as everything's okay. Hang on. Yeah, I'll just let the place busy up a bit before we get cracking on this evening's topics and subjects. I've got me beer. Real beer this evening. Ooh. Brewdog Punk IPA. Very nice too. I'm normally a sort of a lager drinker, but I don't mind the odd drop of pale ale for those that are interested. Very nice. Excuse me while I pour it out. Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. So that's it. Just come in, settle down, make sure you got yourself a drink. Put your feet up if you can. If you're really lucky, you can sit and watch this on the telly. If you're not so lucky, you'd have to be sitting there crouching over your phone, which can't be so comfortable. Cheers. Oh, lovely. So make sure you've got a drink, and we will crack on. Okay. Over here. Quite a few of you have probably seen it already. Evening, Jamie. Silver, hello, mate. Yeah, it's my latest video. After watching Kirk like bashing out the old videos, he inspired me to get off my jacksie and start getting some vids back out there. And I was really pleased with how this one went. For anyone that hasn't seen it, it's me second coating up the wall. Well, first coating it first, obviously, but then doing the second coat with the speed skim, plastic speed skim, buttering it up, and then spreading it on using that. Evening, Mike. I was just looking at some of your pictures you put up earlier, mate. I haven't had a chance to read what you put with them. Something about houses sinking somewhere. I might have a look at that after tonight. Yeah, and I've seen people use some kind of spatulas for putting gear on some of those TikTok videos and what have you. But I thought, yeah, I'll give it a try. And it's the first time I've done it, and I was quite impressed. So much so, the job I was on today, which I have filmed that as well. I did the same again. It was a much smaller piece of wall, and but I thought, yeah, I'll put it on second coat on again with the speed skim, because it does go on lovely and flat. And of course, because of the length of the speed skim, if you're any good at buttering stuff like a speed skim up, it's the same as buttering up the edges of a bit of coving you've got to stick up. If you're any good at that, then yeah, you can butter that speed skim up quite easily. Yeah, plop it on there, push it up, and as long as you don't touch the blade and you just keep a grip of the handle, it goes on lovely and flat. And obviously, because it's a speed skim, the length of it you're covering, that's the 800 I'm using to is it 800? 900? Yeah, the in-betweeny one. And yeah, it just went really well. That one in the pic at the minute, that's just me taking the 1200 over the first coat to flatten it off. It's the second coat when I start actually putting it on with the speed skin. But yeah, works a treat. Works a treat. Today's today's job that I filmed, I was going to call it. It's the first time I've done a video using the plastic mesh on the walls. Stop cracking. And I mean, I've used mesh before, but I haven't filmed it before, but I don't use it that often. And I thought, yeah, I'll make a video how to put up the mesh. And since doing it, I've decided I'm going to call it "How Not to Put Up the Mesh." When you're plastering a wall, you'll see what's what with that when it comes out, which will be the next day or so. But yeah, loads of fun that was. Good evening if you've just joined us and you've never been here before. I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is Ask the Plasterer. I've been a plasterer in South London for the last 38 years. So you can ask me any questions about plastering, and the answers I know, I'll tell you. A lot of the regular guys and girls that come along will also be able to inform you and help you out if you're a bit stuck and I can't do anything. Shalom, Jamie, shalom. You're getting all religious now, mate. Yeah, this is the regular hall, the community boozer of mostly spreads, mostly plasterers, time-served plasterers, guys that have only just started plastering, DIYers. Everyone's welcome. We can ask questions. We just have a general chat about what's been going on, what we've been doing, things that are coming up for us as a band of merry men. Actually, speaking of that, I might as well hang on. Let me just find this on my old little list of things. I say if my picture looks a bit funny tonight, my camera's playing up a little bit, so apologies for that. And hopefully the mic's sounding okay, because that sounded a bit funny earlier today. This morning I tried to do a quick live stream to sort of go, oh yeah, reminder about tonight, and it kept going wrong. And I kept getting my voice coming out twice, echoing, and it was terrible, so I just deleted it off. I thought, yeah, no, I won't bother with that. Just go to work instead. Right, hang on, bear with. Here we are. This is very important. This is 79 days till the Edinburgh meetup. Oh, hang on. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, on the 10th, or some of us will actually be there on the 9th of May for a few days. We're meeting up in Edinburgh because a lot of the guys, we all know each other, but a few of us have met each other, but a lot of the people haven't. So we're meeting up down there, up there, and we're going to have a heck of a time. And it's not just about having the booze up; it's about getting together, meeting the rest of the guys, and yeah, just enjoying it. And the trip there, because a few of us are flying, because it turns out that's a lot cheaper to fly than get there any other way, and a few of us are staying in hostels as well, which is even cheaper than the flight. No, yeah, so it's pretty exciting. Looking forward to that, and the days are counting down really quick now because we decided to do this before Christmas as an idea, and a lot of the guys put in. There's about 20 of us going as definites, but I need to check up on people as the time draws a bit closer. But oh, hang on, let's knock that back off. But yeah, it should be really exciting stuff. Hold on. Yeah, so 79 days, boys and girls, before the Edinburgh meet-up. Edinburgh, lovely city, and lots going on. And I'm pretty sure that I've been told by a few of the guys. Hello, Judy. Hello, Dan. Can't wait. I know he always brings it up and sort of says, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." He keeps going on about some kind of shots that he wants to do when we're there, and yeah, I'll probably, apart from it probably cost a fortune. Yeah, 80 quid from Gatwick. You've got to be a bit careful, Martin, with the add-on things. You see, so some of the flights it says, oh, 30, 40 quid for like return, and you think fantastic. And it's only when you start going through the booking system, it says, oh, you want to take luggage? And you're kind of like, oh yeah, a bit. Well, you can take enough that if you want to keep it cheap, you can take enough that you can just put under your seat, size-wise. It mustn't be too big. If you want one that fits up in the hold, that's more money. Blah blah blah, and extra bits and pieces. It's still cheaper than getting the sleeper train up there, which I would love to do. But it gets a bit silly price of that. And then if you did stay in a half decent place up there, and by the time you're splashing out on a few beers and obviously eating over a few days, it can get a bit pricey. So yeah, we're doing our best to find the cheapest options to get up there. But yeah, no, 80 quid return sounds great, mate. Sounds great. Judy, if you're still there, where is Dan? Is he here? Is he in? Was he having a shower? Is he still working? Is he doing a late one? Oh, that's what I want to give a shout out to Alex Morley on his channel. Not very long ago, a couple of weeks ago. He said people are always moaning that when he suggests about tools that are really good to buy, they're really expensive, and he was basically saying, "Oh, there's this pack of little spatulas you can get for doing margins and stuff, little black plastic ones from Amazon, and they're about £5." And he's got a little video of them using them, and I thought that looks pretty good, because I've got some silly little things, but they're quite awkward to work with, and they're metal, and plastic can work really well. So I ordered some, splashed out the £5, and I used them today on a job going around the margins of these doors, and quite worked a treat. So cheers, Alex. Nice one, mate. Nice one, mate. Dear. So I can recommend them. I can't remember what they're called, but there's 5 of them, 5 black plastic spatulas, varying sizes, obviously, and it's great. Jamie YouTube. Anyone do CIS work? My contractor doesn't understand it, but under advice from accountant, they got me to register. I don't get monthly receipts, and I suspect they aren't paying it to the HMRC. You only need that card, Jamie, if you're working on sites, or for a building company, or like a main contractor. A lot of myself and a lot of the guys and girls do a hell of a lot of domestics now, because they're more of a breeze, and they're nicer to do than site work. But some guys love site work. If you're on site work though, mate, what's that? Yeah, the CIS work is literally just so you don't end up paying emergency tax. Because they can take you on and you can start doing the work, but without the CIS card, or this used to be the case for me anyway, you get, at the time, you got stopped 30% tax, which was the kind of sort of a maximum that was well over what you were meant to be paying. Hello, Scott. Burnley, yeah. Oh, lovely place, mate. Lovely place. Welcome along. Ah, dear. This is Officer Plasterer, for those of you that haven't been here before and don't know. I'm Eric, the Plasterer. I've been plasterer in South London for the last 38 years. Here to answer any of your plastering related questions, and just to get together with all the spreads that we've come to know. And yeah, lovely bunch of guys via Trowel Talk, via my channel, my Ask the Plasterer and what have you. And this is the Community Boozer. Anyone's welcome to come along and have a chat. There's a phone line in, so if you're not watching this on your phone and you're watching on the TV, you can ring that number and you can talk to me right now in the pub. So if you can do that, feel free to do it. Mark, what's that? I do work as subby for domestic property maintenance company. Oh, okay, mate. Okay, yeah, I don't know what. I'll look back on your question about the CIS card later on, because they'll get recorded. So and see if I can find out what's going on there. Yay, Stu! Evening, mate. Nice to see ya. Oh, cheers. Oh, Malcolm as well. Cheers. Ah, lovely. Oh, hang on, what's the Mark? I just want to check these out, Mark, so I know what's going on. I do, Jamie. We don't get receipts every month, just one at the end of the tax year. Is that, mate? And I think, yeah, there's not a lot that Mark doesn't know about plastering and about tax affairs and stuff like that. Yeah, and if you want to see some amazing rendering, actually, on the channel that Mark, I always forget the name of the channel. Scott at Trowel Talk. Love all of your vids, mate. Oh, Stuart's vids, mate. They are good, mate. They are good. He's a hard-working lad, is our Stuart. I mean, without him, the Trowel Talk thing wouldn't exist. And Mark as well, and some of the other guys, Marcus, that helped doing the administration, whatever it's called. They can like chuck you off or let you on and all that. They do a brilliant job, and they're very encouraging to everybody. There's loads of women on the site as well, for the amount of women plasterers that there are, which is lovely. And yeah, it's all good stuff. What's that, Jamie? So Eric, speed skim, second coat, yay or nay? I tell you what, mate, I loved it. It went really well, and I was saying to the guys earlier that little job I was doing today, it was smaller, but I did it again because I thought, you know what, butter it up. Because obviously it's bigger. If you're rubbish at buttering up stuff, and I used to do cobing on price work years ago, and I could butter up 100 metres a day of cobing and fit it. So yeah, no problem getting it on there, and then because you've got it right the way across the speed skimmer, if you like to take it across, as long as you're just holding it properly, and you're not bending the blade. It goes on lovely and flat, and just take, any hollows that might be there, mate. You don't really get hollows because the amount of gear you're putting on with it, and then you can go back over it and like level it out, flatten it off, and yeah. And at the end of that one, you can see, or I could see anyway, even in the video, how nice and flat and smooth the walls are, and there's something between matte and matte finish and a shine finish. It wasn't overly one or the other, but it was that kind of like looked perfect for painting kind of finish. So I am going to continue doing that, trying it out, and one of my videos that will be coming up, I'm going to attempt to do both coats by buttering up and laying on with the speed skim. I'll probably only be laying on with the 900, not the 1200. Yeah, not the little one, because you might as well just use a big trowel. But yeah, and I will video that, and hopefully, and I'll tell you one thing: if I get the hang of it, I might start doing it. Obviously, it's not traditional plastering, but if it saves time, comes out lovely and flat, and obviously there's a lot less strain on your joints and stuff, then yeah. So it's a big yay for me, mate, from laying on the old second coat for now with the old speed skim pucker. That's I thought I'd put it up here so people can have a look at it. Right, hang on. So I just want to be careful I don't miss anybody's questions. Oh, hang on, let's bring it up here. Chat. There with. James just bought a DeWalt DAB radio and used it today. Absolutely fantastic. Made the day go a lot faster. Oh, it's nice to have a decent radio on site, mate. As long as it's not competing with anyone else's radio. Yeah. Just Us Plasterers, that's it. Just Us Plasterers. Mark Neeson and the boys, the Colby bar, and sorry, Mark, I'm terrible with remembering people's names. But have a look on there, and the last one I saw was Mark. He's laying on sand and cement. His trowel technique is bloody lovely to watch. But he has done God, I don't know how many miles of render he must have put on walls over the years. But you're top spread mark in that respect, mate, without a doubt. Oh, hang on. Yeah, Jamie, give it a bash later in the week, mate. I mean, if you find like you're having trouble doing it, just revert back to putting your second coat on with a trowel. But it's one of those things. Yeah, now I've done it because that's the first time I've done it. I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm definitely going to carry on. So give it a try and see how you get on with it. What's that? Scott, speed skims are good, but my fat fingers make it hard to grip. And mate, I've got like sausage fingers myself, but your fingers can't be that fat, surely. Hang on. Land on with speed skim, madness. Yeah, it is, mate. Oh, it will be. But I'm going to try laying on my first coat. I'm going to make next videos. That's what I'm going to try. And if it don't work, obviously then I won't put the video out. And I'll just tell you about it. Or I might do it and go, God, dear, don't try this because it doesn't work, or it's really difficult to do. Hang on, land on a speed skim. They should be using. Oh no, I won't be using a roller or brush to lay on, mate. No, definitely not. Silver, that's what it's all about. Make it easy. Yeah, but if anything that makes the job easier, when you've been doing it for as long as some of us have, then yeah, it's sensible. I mean, I'm 60 now, and I'm not going to be retiring anytime soon. So, if I do have a couple of hard days, I do feel not achy, but just tired. You get tired a lot easier as you start getting older. Evening, Tara. Nice to see you, sweetheart. Yeah, we are a lovely lot. Did you run a trowel over after the metal blade speedy? On that particular job, mate, no. I left the finish under the speedy. I just tickled around the top with a flexible trowel just to make sure I had that nice edge against the ceiling. But the rest I left it under the old speed skin metal blade. I'm laying on with the plastic blade, and obviously the final troweling was with the metal blade, water and metal blade. You've got to take a good look at it to make sure it's nice and smooth. But again, at the end of that video, I do run the camera around as close as I can get, and it's come out a treat. And there's a bit on there for anyone that's not into using the old twitcher. There's a little bit on there of me doing the internal, because obviously it's all wet angles where we put the whole rim on, and they came out a treat because a few guys were a bit nervous about doing those. Some guys just brush them in. With the twitcher, internal angle trowel, as long as you don't do it too soon. I mean, you can do it initially early on, just if you want to make sure you've got plaster right in the corner. But your best bet is to get your edges as close as you can when you're doing it, your first coats, and then leave it, till you've got your second coat on there, and you're going around, and you're starting really, when it's getting to the point where you're thinking about splashing a bit of water on. That's when you want to be taking the twitcher down it. If you have a little look at obviously it's near the end of that video, that's on there as well. But that's all good stuff. Johnny, evening, mate. Evening, Eric. I watched your latest video Saturday, and I was amazed how you applied the second coat of the speed skin. Still use my trowel on the first coat. But I say, Johnny, that's the first time I've ever done it, mate. I've seen videos of guys. I don't think in the UK, but laying on like render and stuff with some kind of what do you call it? With some kind of speed skim or a derby affair, where someone's kind of chucking it on the wall and they're just ruling it off. But I've not seen this done as for second coating. But so I thought, I'll give it a try. What's the worst that can happen is it went completely wrong. But it make a good how not to, don't even bother trying video if it hadn't gone well, but it did go well, and I was just really surprised how well it went, thankfully. Scott, Ox Trowel, you like it? Yes, mate, I do like the Ox. I've used Marshalltown for years, and my 14 inch is a Marshalltown stainless steel. and that Ox one is a 18 inch stainless steel. They're both 5 inches across, which is okay for, as I say, for laying on skims and stuff like that. An 18 inch trowel, like the 5 inch wide jobby, is okay, but I wouldn't use it for heavy work. I wouldn't use it for the old sand and cement or a lot of bonding. A little bit of bonding, yeah, why not? Because obviously you can get more of it, more of your old finish and stuff on with it. Because I don't use it that often, and I'm only really laying on with that trowel, it's still not sharp enough to, and I can't be bothered when I get home or afterwards to, try and wear it in a bit more on a stone or sandpaper or whatever. But once that is a bit sharper, I'll probably use it for troweling up as well. But I revert back to my my 14 inch Marshalltown because that's well worn in. And or as I say, recently when I've done like that job, oh look, there you go, the old corner trowel there. On that job, I'm just leaving it under the metal blade speed skim. I mean, you've got to have a good look at it and make sure that it is nice and there is no blemishes that you've missed or little holes. Oops, sorry. But there shouldn't be. And yeah, give it a try, boys and girls. Give it a try. If you've got a speed skim, obviously. Yeah, I don't put it on with the metal blade. They're far too flexible. Far too flexible. Tony Smith, hello mate. Nice to see you. Amy, what's all this, Jamie? Namaste, Tara. Oh dear. It is. I bet you're burning joss sticks, Jamie, now, aren't you? Have you got your sari? Not your sari. What are those things guys used to wear? Well, as I used to wear in the 90s. I was around in the 90s, obviously. Some wraparound skirt things that were quite trendy for blokes to wear back in the day. Anyway, yeah, I can imagine you sitting there, Jamie, and that with your joss sticks burning. He's found a new religion. Cheers. Ah. Do. Right, how are we doing? Hang on. Good evening. If you've not been here before, I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is Ask the Plasterer, and this is Ye Olde Hawk Trowel community boozer, where me and a lot of the guys and girls meet up just for a chat. It's only every other fortnight currently, on a Monday night, 7 till about 8:30. A bit of a chinwag, a bit of a chat. So kick your shoes off, put your feet up, get yourself a drink, and yeah, just have a chat. You can ring into the pub. You can type your questions up on the screen, and yeah, and we just crack on with that. Oh, another thing I was going to mention. That's not too early in the evening, is it? If I can remember where me is. No, hang on.
One quick tip that we can all offer down to anyone that wants to start a YouTube channel. Eric, quick tip for any new starters.
Quick tip, when you get to work, put your phone on the window, put it on record, point it at yourself and go for it.
On a Friday
just
morning,
keep practice. One quick tip that we can all offer down to anyone that wants to start a YouTube channel. Eric, quick tip for any new starters.
You got
quick
Alex,
tip,
you got
when you get to work, put your phone on the window, stick it on record, point it at yourself and go for it.
Don't know why.
Just keep practice.
Just
one quick tip that we can all offer down to anyone that wants to start a YouTube channel. Eric, quick tip for any new starters.
Quick tip, when you get to work, put your phone on the window, stick it on record and point it at yourself and go for it.
But
just keep practice. One quick tip that we can all offer down to anyone that wants to start a YouTube channel. Eric, quick tip for any new starters.
But you can
quick
find
tip,
out
when you get to work, put your phone on the window, stick it on record and point it at yourself and go for it.
Still there,
just keep practice. One quick tip that we can all offer down to anyone that wants to start a YouTube channel. Eric, quick tip for any new starters.
Quick tip, when you get to work, put your phone on the windowsill, stick it on record, and point it at yourself and go for it.
Just for you lot.
Just keep practice.
We'll just get
one quick tip that we can all offer down to anyone that wants to start a YouTube channel. Eric, quick tip for any new starters.
Quick tip, when you get to work, put your phone on the windowsill, stick it on record, point it at yourself and go for it.
Just keep practice. We'll just get one quick tip that we can all offer down to anyone that wants to start a YouTube channel.
There we go. What was that, Tara? So you couldn't hear me then for a minute. Hang on, bear with. Alexander, hello mate. Even Eric, guys, never seen you painting, or there was some extra preparation for it. Never seen you painting? But we don't do any painting, Alexander, I don't think. Well, some of us do, for some of our jobs, but if work's a little bit quiet and you do a job for someone, they say, oh, can you paint it as well? You know, come back and paint it, then and you're not that busy, then why not? If it's your own work, at least you know how much sandpaper to bring. I'm only joking. Oh, you can't hear me, Tara. Is that everybody? No. Oh, well, the video was on. Okay, darling, sorry. Oh, so that waffling I did was for nothing. It was basically that as you say, that's 6:30 in the morning. That was the last one. There's another one. They're monthly. Stuart's hosting them, obviously, via Trowel Talk. They're on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch that one on either of those, on the Trowel Talk website, on the Trowel Talk channel. And it's also on Trowel Talk Facebook page. And the next one, Billy Joe Judd, I think it is. She's coming on there for a chat. Me and some of the other guys will be on there too. I think I've asked Blaine Gray to come to that one, and as far as I know, he's up for that for the next one that's coming up. I'll have to check with Stuart exactly what the date is of that one. I can't remember now. I've got it written down somewhere, but I've got a rubbish memory, so sorry about that. Oh, we'll get a date locked in for next month's podcast, mate. Keep you all posted. Oh, there you go. Stuart will keep us posted on the on the exact date. But I'm assuming that will still be a Friday morning, Stu, won't it? For that. Well, I didn't wired the video up. No one could hear me apparently. I was waffling all about it. It was on the Anthony, me, Kirk, or Captain Kirk, as I said, I'm going to call him from now. Well, the captain, I think. And Alex and Joel. Joel, are you around and about, mate? Let me say that. Miscoat the fresh plaster first. Oh yeah. I always make sure I tell my customers, especially when you're doing domestics, if they're going to be doing the painting, that they really need to miscoat a couple of coats watered down first, because the plaster, as you know, guys, is so porous that you know, I tell all my customers, you've got to do a couple of really watered down coats first, unless you're going to do some kind of sealer on it or paint for new plaster, which again isn't cheap, but it does work apparently. I say that's the technique I use: water down emulsion, couple of coats, so it's got a chance to soak in a little bit, and you're doing your mist coat basically at the same time before you start coming straight out of the tin. And one customer, and I'm pretty sure I did tell her to do that, and she rang me up, and I plastered the through lounge ceiling for her, and her son was painting it, and she went, "Oh, his son was started painting the lounge ceiling, and it's going on lovely, you know, nice and white, sort of like one coat." And I'm not surprised. She said, and then suddenly the roller was this fat, and it was just full of paint. It kind of like peeled back off again, and wrapped all around the roller, which is what can happen if you take quite a thick paint and you go straight onto fresh plaster. because it just sucks the life out of it, and it just of course peels off like a skin. And once that happens, you've got no way of kind of like you paint back over it, but you can see where that's happened, and nightmare. But they got over it one way or the other. But yeah, so make sure you tell your customers about that. Kenny, hello Kenny. Should give a sponge float a try, Eric. Helps take the pressure off the joints. Yeah, it's. I know you can. I mean, the only time I do anything that's like sponge floating is if I've got a bit caught on something, which doesn't often happen. But if I've overdone it with how much gear I'm putting on, and if it's starting to go on me, I've got a nice big old water brush now. I will give it a good old brush around with that, and then trowel it back off. But yeah, I don't even own a sponge float, mate, to be honest with you. And I'd probably only use it if I really felt like I needed to at the end of the day. Richard, hello mate. Even Eric, bought 8 bags of ball finish last week. £2 a bag. Oh, was it you that said it was old? You bought some old stuff. £2 a bag was out of date. Worked just fine. I was a bit nervous. Yeah, mate. I've used. I never used to check the dates on bags of plaster ever. I just I don't know. Just assumed it was okay. But when I have seen dates on plaster, I've used plaster that's months past its sell by date, and had no problem with it at all. Basically, with the gear, as long as it's been kept somewhere dry and the bags haven't been opened, or not been in a damp garage or whatever, or left in the baking hot sun for months. Yeah, I haven't had an issue. And if you're a bit nervous, well, you could just stick a bit of the old extra time in there. But 9 times out of 10, I've had the old bonding. Actually, I've even had old bags of bonding that have been open. And you kind of think, oh, that'd be good for patching up a hole quickly. And I mixed it up. Oh, I've got this to go off like a rocket. And mix it up, put it on. An hour later, still soaking wet. And you think, what's happened there? Oh dear. Jamie, water brush much better than sponge. Sponges are a real pain to clean. That's true, mate. Yeah, I find that when I have done any outside rendering and I'm finishing off a bit of a sponge, like a proper sponge, not a sponge float, just a sponge, very gently to get that nice kind of fine finish on. It's cleaning them out. Oh. And of course, if it's plaster and it's yeah. Tyler's wash boy bucket for the sponge. Oh, okay, mate. I'll chat with you Friday morning. But yeah, going back to the plastering podcast, the Trout Talk one. Yeah, it is very early. It feels it. I think I said last time when Stuart asked me, he said about 6:30. I thought he meant 6:30 in the evening. So I was like, yeah, mate, I'm up for that, no problem. Dear, and he said no, 6:30 in the morning. So, and it wasn't too bad. Once you're up and you kind of awake, you start chatting, have a bit of a laugh. Yeah, kind of sets you up for the day. It set me up for the day anyway. I had a good day that day. Cheers. Right, if you've not been here before, I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is Ask the Plasterer. You can ask any plastering related questions. I've been a plasterer for 38 years in South London and don't seem to take too long. Yeah, my joints are still good. I don't have any issues. I don't know if that's either because I haven't worked hard enough in my career, or keeping fit is a major thing, like gyms and stuff. I didn't really do much of that until much later in life, if I'm honest. Running, did the old park run as well. Didn't start that till I was in my 50s. Didn't really seriously start the gym till I was in my 50s. But it's well worthwhile. Trying to eat sensibly though, God, that's just really hard. I do love a beer or a pie, sausages, mashed potato. vegetables as well, obviously. Pasta, steak, chips, bacon. I knew I should have had my dinner before tonight. Mike, any new TikTok videos coming out yet? What, for me? Well, you've seen my TikTok videos, mate. They're nothing to do with plastering. It's just my side hobby. My side hobby of messing about with special effects. As is fairly obvious. But yeah. My Instagram, I mean, I've got the sort of for fitness Instagram, but I've got the plastering Instagram, and I'm trying to keep that just plastering stuff on that now, rather than putting any silly things on there. But the TikTok one, mate, yeah, that's yeah. Ian, hello, mate. Any tips on doing large ceiling? Thought trying to do half and feather it, and then the other half the next day and blend. The only thing I can say, Ian, is if you have to put a joint in the ceiling, you're so much better off doing them both halves on the same day, because then blending, whether you do sort of cut a straight line in your first one, and then your next one goes on and you blend up to that, or whether you decide to feather across and then feather across on the other one, if you do those the same day, you'll get a much nicer, much better and easier to do joint. If you leave it till the next day, it'll already be porous. If you start putting PVA along the joint to stop that, then when you try and blend, you can blend it in quite well, and that PVA can cause issues when it comes to painting the ceiling and what the joint looks like. Obviously, ideally, which would be ideal for me, like when I've got a big ceiling, which is rare, I had one a little while ago, it would have been great to have another spread. I mean, if some of you guys didn't live so far and wide across the country, and a bit closer to London, it'd be nice to get a hand on some if a major big ceiling comes in, because just putting on anything bigger between two of you is just so much easier, obviously, I suppose, than handling it on your own. But yeah, that'd be my tip, mate. I have blended before one side and kind of blended out, feathered it, and then feathered the other one over that way. But I have found I get quite a nice joint. Again, it's doing it the same day though. If I cut it off nice and straight, and leave some depth to it rather than feather it in, and then butt the other one up. As I say, it really wants to be the same day. And although this one's on this side, the first one's gone off, it's not gone off so much that you can't get a nice blend on your joint when you butt the other one up to it. So yeah, I hope that helps, Ian. Hope that helps, mate. Cheers. Also, for anyone that doesn't know, I don't think I did the last one. Naughty me. This normally goes out as a video as soon as the live stream is finished, which is great. But it also goes out about a day later as a podcast, because I have to download this because it goes out live, to turn it into a podcast, which you can get on Spotify or wherever you get podcasts. But it takes YouTube at least a day to process it so that you can download it, or I can download it, turn it into a podcast. And obviously the podcasts are a lot easier to listen to at work because you haven't got to have the YouTube open. Podcasts, you can just turn the thing off and shut your phone up, and you can still listen to it, which is good. And also on Spotify, the actual video comes out as well, is on there, so people can actually watch the. Once I don't see what the point of that is, you might as well watch it on YouTube. But yeah, for listening to it. Mark, hello, mate. Eric and his big white door. Well, that's it. Yeah, mate. It's only you and Mike that I think seen them, mate. You never know where he's going to turn up. Yeah, I just thought, I did that door thing ages ago for something else when I was trying to learn sort of special effects. That I was coming out of a doll's house. Not my little girl, my granddaughter's doll's house, and I couldn't get it to work. And then when I finally sussed out to do it, I still had that bit of footage of me coming out the front door, and I thought, well, now I know how to do it. Let's see what scenarios I can kind of put it in, just for the hell of it. Not particularly interesting to watch, but different. And Yeah, and stops me putting them on my channel and completely ruining it for people that come for the plastering and go, what the hell is this? I didn't sign up for this. So yeah, if you want to see some weird old rubbish, then look for me on TikTok. But there's not many on there. I think there's only about 10 videos, but they all involve me coming out of the door. Ah, dear. Is there anything else I wanted to cover? Yeah, if you weren't here earlier, just to say today I was using the old plastic mesh that you bed into your finish internally. It's quite a fine, well, not a fine one, but it's fairly thin. And because I want to make a video, how to put mesh up and how you bed it into the first coat, and I made a right pig's ear. So I pre-cut it, and it had to be a particular shape, and I think I kind of cut it back to front. Took all the measurements. Oh, that's going to fit lovely. I didn't think twice. Then I buttered up the wall. I laid on my first coat. And then I thought, yeah, here's my plastic. I've gone to plop it up. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute. But you'll see the video because I'm going to put it out. Whatever. As I say, but I'll probably call it how not to. But put plastic on the wall, the mesh. God, it makes me look an amateur. But then I don't use it that often, so, you know, what do you expect? It came out nice in the end. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Oh dear. If you've just joined us, I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is After Plasterer, and this is Ye Olde Hawk Trowel Community Boozer, where me and loads of other plasterers meet up, men and women, I'm pleased to say. And time served guys, newbies to the trade, DIYers, everybody's welcome. Also, really good place to go if you are new or a newbie or a DIYer. You want to know anything about plastering and you want to get a decent answer to a question and not have the mickey taken out of you, then Trowel Talk Plastering Help Group is the only one that you want or need, because you'll get some sound advice. Some absolutely great guys on there. Most of these guys, on my right, my left, yeah, over here, are on there, and they're just happy to help, as am I, obviously. And since I see the captain, Kirky, evening mate, if you see this at some point, has done the old buy me a beer. If I've helped you out, buy me a beer. So me and a few of the other guys, I thought, you know what, that's not a bad idea. So if you start to see, and there's one on here, I think, or there will be, on my videos, oh, buy Eric a pint. You know why? It's Kirk's fault. It's Kirk's fault. He's such an entrepreneur. Oh dear. Oh, and if you missed it, I did. I said also that Alex Morley, he suggested some margin trowels, plastic ones, a range of about 5 of them from Amazon for about £5. Plastic ones, black plastic ones, and I used some today around some door margins, and they worked a treat. I was well impressed. So so thanks, Alex, again. Dear. Oh, cheers. Anyone that's here this evening that has said they're going to come on the old spreads meet up in Edinburgh on the 10th of May for a few days, go on to your Trowel Talk, the page where we've got the Edinburgh meet up details, and let us know if you're definitely thinking of going. I mean, I know a few of us have definitely booked already, so at least we're going to be there, but nothing worse than anticipating about 20 people turning up or more, and half of them at the last minute can't make it. if you can't make it for any reason, then fair enough. But it will be nice to meet each other in the flesh and just have a good old chat. And I'm going to be doing live streams on the trip there, on the plane, once we're in Edinburgh, in the pub, or wherever we happen to be, probably in the hostel as well. That's still going to be. There's going to be live streams going out, and a lot of the other guys that have got their own channels are going to be live streaming as well, so you can see how the whole event goes from different perspectives. Whoever's holding their camera or their camera phone up and doing some live streaming, which you'll be able to watch if you're not there with us from the comfort of your home and feel like you're almost there with us. So, or you could be there for real if you want. So. If you do want to, go onto the Trowel Talk Plasterers Help group and sign yourself up. Sign yourself up. There's no what commitment? What's the word I'm looking for? There's no obligation. There's no obligation. It would be nice. It would be nice. Richard, I was doing some Artex ceilings using it. I would say it hung a tad more than usual, but fine. Oh, you're talking about the your board finish, mate. Pardon me. And hello from sunny Wolverhampton. Of course, the sun's not out now, mate, is it? Something strange going on in Wolverhampton, if it is. Well, welcome along, mate. Jamie, bit of a hot topic, but recent times, PVA or SBR? A lot of people saying SBR. What brand best and drying time before leaving on? Well, according to Kirk, the old SBR reckons you can go over it in about 15-20 minutes. When the weather's half decent, and in the summertime, obviously, you can do the same with PVA. Most guys for years, including myself, have used PVA because it was the kind of thing you bought. Some of the other guys have said that the SBR is making the set go off quicker. I don't know how true that is because I've just been such a PVA man for my whole life, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm a neat PVA man. I water it down a bit so it's not too stodgy, but I neat PVA everything, and I let it go completely off before I stick fiberglass tape to it, before I skim over it. I've done it in advance, days before, and then skimmed over stuff, and it's gone absolutely sweet as a nut. And so because of that, and because although it's going up now, it's getting more expensive. It was a tenner, wasn't it? It's about 15 quid for a gallon, money. 5 litres, is it? Yeah, I stick with it. I mean, yeah, I can't really comment on the SBR because only from what other people tell me about using it. And I've used it as an ad mix when I've been doing some rendering before, a bit of pebble dashing. But yeah, I can't afford SBR. Dear. What's that, Mark? Need a Ye Olde Hawk Trowel banner to hang up in the pub for your live stream, Eric. Yeah, but depending on what pub we're in, mate, we might get told off. And I don't like it. I don't like getting told off. I'm not much of a rebel, me. So excuse me, barman, or governor. Would you mind if we're doing a live stream over in the corner there? You mind if we put up my little banner that calls this pub the Olde Trowel? Why not? I mean, they're friendly in Edinburgh. They're a friendly bunch, so yeah. Well, like anything else, mate, it's kind of like, well, you better get a banner made then. Oh yeah, and they'll completely forget about it until we're going. And you go, no, oh, did you get a banner made up? And I go, oh, I knew there was something I was going to do. But I'll see, mate. I'll see. Yeah, I'll see. Keep reminding me about it, Mark. Keep reminding me. Silver, any good PVA offers at the mo out there? Not that I know of, mate. But I haven't been looking. I do my usual stroll up to B&Q while it's still there. The B&Q here in Sutton, it was meant to shut down in April. Now of this year, and now it's not going to shut down till November, and I'm just so used to it's quite an easy place to get to from where I live, and when I know exactly where everything is. They've got a big old trade point entrance. Go straight in there, all the gear's there, whack it on the trolley, back it in the motor and off to me job. And although there's a Selco kind of in the other direction, which I will have to use because it's the next nearest place that sells stuff that I need, once the old B&Q does shut down. It'll take a bit of getting used to. Yeah, you can park right outside in Selco as well, so it's not. Yeah, I shouldn't moan really. I'm just a stickler for old habits, and I've got so stuck in going to. I must have got to the B&Q in Sutton for the last 20 years at least to get gear for my jobs. Just plaster-wise, it used to be very cheap sometimes compared to other places. Nothing else. If you bought anything else in there, a bit of plumbing equipment, then that's a different story. I've got a local ironmonger, Melvin Clark's, absolutely fantastic shop, and it's been there for years. And then more or less, if you want something, they've normally got it. And I needed the lead lock to do with plumbing, and in there it was a tenner. And I thought, oh, I'll have a look at B&Q. I might have looked at B&Q first. In B&Q it's about 38 quid or something for exactly the same thing. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute, they just lure the plasterers in with a cheap plaster. And if you kind of think, oh, I need some plumbing stuff, I need a lead lock, I'll get a lead lock. And then at the till they go £38, you go, oh, hey, how much? And then yeah, shoot to Melvin's and pick it up for a tenner. And you think a smaller shop doing it cheap, when a massive conglomerate like a B&Q would do it cheaper. Well, they could, couldn't they? Mark, I have a pub sorted and all, mate. Oh, nice one. Yeah, because you went up recently, didn't you? Showed us pictures of where we'll be staying and the stairs we'll have to walk up to get to the outside of the place. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, guys. Absolutely, girls. Ah, dear. But yeah, don't know the name of the boozer, Mark, do you? Oh, you must do. What's it called? Have you told him that it will be called the Hawk Trowel while we're there? The funny thing is like that, when you get, if you kind of sort of like, oh, that's a nice pub, and you go in there and you have a meet up in there, you kind of think, oh, should we go to have a little bit of a trip around? You kind of think, oh no, it's nice in there. No, let's just go there. Yeah, you're gonna have a bit of dinner, or a curry, or a pizza. And then meet in the bar. Yeah, looking forward to it. 79 days to go, people, to that Edinburgh meetup. I think I need to top up my drink. How are we doing for time? 7:59. We've got about another half an hour. All going well. Those that like to have a bit of a chat. As I say, if anybody's watching this on the TV and they want to call in with a question, that number at the top of the screen, 07516 214 983, is a number to call, and you can speak to me live in front of everybody. But don't be nervous. I've had to get used to it. I have to do all the talking. Oh dear, it's not easy. And getting back to these bashing out videos again for tutorials and stuff, or just generally, it's so much work. It's when you're, I mean that job, I'm surprised it all went so well in that video, because one thing that dawns on me when because I don't often try and do a whole room in one set, but there were no window reveals in that room. There was a blanking plate across the top of the window. There was no margin down the side of the door. It was beautiful from that perspective. The Amber Rose. I look forward to that, Mark. Nice one. I should look it up, mate. I should look it up. Yeah. Where was I? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, that when you do lay on, if you're going to put all the walls on in the room that you're working in, and it was only a very little corridor outside of the room, everything's got to go in the middle of the floor, because you can't lean anything up against the wall. Because normally, if I stick a couple of walls on, and I've got everything else leaning up against the wall, speed skims and stuff on the opposite side, and of course in there, as you could probably tell, everything is in the middle of the floor, and tripping over it left, right, and centre. On top of that, I've got a tripod in the middle at the end of the room, with a camera on it, trying to film bits and pieces, turning it on, turning it off, turning it on, turning it off. And then you get it home, you got to edit it. I won't ask any of the guys. It is, it's quite time consuming, but it's enjoyable. It's nice once you've done it and you've got it out there, and you kind of like, wee, especially if people watch it. And that one's doing quite well, so I'm quite happy for my first proper video back after ages, really. So sorry, my regular subscribers, I think they've given up hope on ever seeing another tutorial of any description from me. Yeah, I'm back on it. I'm back on it. Thanks to Kirk. So got Kirk to thank for that. James, currently got Ask the Plasterer on the telly while looking out the window for my weekly Tesco delivery. Mate, you are, James, living the dream. Living the dream. You've got a curry coming as well, have you? Oh no, it's Monday, isn't it? That's kind of more of a Friday or Thursday, Friday thing, isn't it? On the weekend. Ah dear. So yeah, well you could ring me, James, and have a little bit of a chat. But I suppose just as you do that, the old Tesco man will turn up, won't he? Oh, we've got to go. Yeah, Tesco delivery's here. Oh dear. Sometimes, mind you say, it's quite good to watch this on the telly, but sometimes when I played these back and had a look at them, and I think, oh wow, it's all a bit big and I look a bit more blurry on the telly than I do on the old computer monitor for some reason. Or is it me? But as I say, there's a lot of adjustments you have to make for this kind of setup. But I do enjoy it, because I wouldn't do it. And of course I wouldn't enjoy it if you lot weren't here. There'd be no one to talk to. No questions to answer. Oh dear. If you have just joined us, I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is Ask the Plasterer. And this is Ye Olde Hawk Trowel Community Boozer, where me and the guys and the girls meet up for just a chat. It's on every other Monday from 7 o'clock to about 8:30. We just chat plastering related stuff and the things that we got going on. I say our meet up in Edinburgh, Plasterers meet up, Spreads meet up. So a lot of the guys, we kind of know each other from our socials, but a lot of us have never met each other in the flesh before. So really looking forward to that. That should be an absolutely amazing time. And I know a lot of the other guys, Danny, wherever you are, Danny. Danny's always looking forward to it. He's a top lad. It's Plastervate Danny, as opposed to Rendervate Joel. But yeah, so this is the community boozer. I've been a plasterer in South London for the last 38 years, so if you've got any questions, hopefully I'll be able to answer them, or if I can't answer them, then one of the other guys and girls will answer them instead, which is all good. And when you're here, just get yourself a drink, put your feet up. I think Monday night's a bit rubbish on the telly anyway, so you might as well be here and having a chat with us in a community boozer. Yeah, this is
Ask the Plasterer.
Yay! Just in case you forget. Cheers. The old half time for bonding. We have to be a bit careful with that. Is like, if you put half time for finish in your set, takes about an hour off of your usual setting time, or thereabouts, in my estimations, which is absolutely great. And obviously the extra time gives you about an hour extra. Half time for bonding, it does say on there about 20 minutes. It goes off like a rocket. And sometimes if you're doing a small patch, to try and judge, just to put a little bit of powder in. and I've done it before, I put a little bit in, it doesn't do the job. And I'll do it again, small amount in a bucket, just to patch up a little hole that I want to skim over quick. And I think I'm going to put a bit more in. And literally, as I'm mixing it, I can feel it starting to get stiff. And you can't water it down because it's going. But if you have one small enough, you can whack it in there as quick as you can. Then you'll be laughing. And if you can whack it in and it's slightly proud, 2 minutes later you can carve the top of it off. So yeah, win-win all round. Dear. That's the only trouble with any kind of whatever you use to retard the plaster or to make it stay softer for longer, is having the measurements right. If you're doing exact bags, then all the packet stuff works absolutely fantastic because whole bag, whole sachet or something. When you're starting to do little patches or something, where you're only going to use half a bag or quarter of a bag, then you have to be a bit more careful. Again, I've used dirty water in all sorts of plaster before to try and make that go off in the past, because I never used to be into any kind of admixes, and it all went. Sometimes if you've got a bit of dirty water, normally being some old plaster water from a previous mix, which is obviously going to help the next mix go off quicker because it's already setting. But that when that's not, most of the time it works, and other times it just doesn't. So I've done it in bonding and finish in the past, and sometimes it has gone off nice and quick, and other times it's still just hung about, and sometimes I think I've made it hang about even longer for some reason. And who's got dirty water on them all the time? Especially when you're starting a fresh new job and you don't want to be carrying around a gallon of plaster water from your previous job. That's no, forget that. Oh dear. Right, if you've just joined us, I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is Ask the Plasterer. Ask away. I've been a plasterer in South London for 38 years. And this is the Hawk Trowel, Ye Olde Hawk Trowel community boozer. And me and the guys and girls meet up for a bit of a chat fortnightly, and it goes out as a podcast a couple of days later, all going well, if I don't forget. This is a video of me putting on a second coat with a speed skim, buttering up the speed skim and doing the second coat with the speed skim instead of a trowel. Yeah, you can see the whole video properly on my channel. It's the latest one that's gone up. If you're wondering what this is all about up here, and it's the first time I've done it, and it worked out really well. I'm very impressed, and yeah, and I am going to try to put my next set on first coat using the same method. I'm going to try putting on my first coat with by buttering it up onto a plastic blade speed skim and laying it on the wall, and I will film that and let you know how it goes, and you'll see the results. Mark, 30 mins max with the half time for bonding. It's pretty rapid. Yeah, that's what I always want it. Yeah, because 30 minutes for a whole bag of bonding, depending what you're putting it on, Mark, innit? If you're dubbing out a great big something with a bit of depth on it, then you've got plenty of time to whack it in. If you're doing something that might be a little bit more intricate, and you're knocking up a whole bag, you're thinking, right, I need to get whatever I'm doing here, I need to make sure it's all on while I've still got some work time with it before it starts getting like no good. James, been using the plastic protection last week. Is that the same stuff I get on just a big roll and tape it all down, or are you talking about the roll and strail stuff? Last week or so, I have to admit it leaves little mess at the end. Works especially well for kitchen jobs. Yeah, any kind of plastic, whether it's the stuff you buy that I do on a roll, unroll it, cut it, unfold it. Covers most size rooms, to be honest with you. Cost me £17 for a roll in my local Melvin Clark's, or one over the road, Mark Fisher's. And yeah, I don't know how many square meters it's got on it, but it's got a lot. It's a half decent thick plastic as well. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. I think it might be about 20 quid on Amazon, but yeah, as long as it's, yeah, I think the one that I've got in some of my links is for a particular sort of thickness that's half decent. You don't want the stuff that kind of blows away in the wind, because that's just, yeah, not worth having. I can't get on with dust sheets, because as soon as I start getting plaster on them, and then I don't like the idea of then chucking them down on because I do a lot of domestics, a lot of times the room I'm working in, they've got a lovely carpet in there. And I kind of think, oh, you know, the old dust sheet's covered in plaster splodges and it's a bit dusty and what have you. They might not be too happy about me shoving it on top of their new Axemead stuff or whatever it is. So I buy that, I buy that stuff, yeah, on a roll. Cut it out, tape it all around the edges. I normally buy a 2-inch clear tape as well. I've used like a white tape with red writing on it before, the old fragile stuff. But you'll find if some of that gets stuck onto like a wooden floor or a skirting board, it's really hard to get. Can really be really hard to get off. If it happens to be a red bit, at least if you accidentally leave a bit of clear tape on a bit of skirting or on a bit of the floor, it doesn't look so bad. But generally speaking, yeah, you got the roll and stroll stuff, but that gets expensive to put down. Okay to use on the stairs. The only place I use coming out is the old dust sheets. It's the stair run dust sheets, and I just kind of bend them down the stairs, like for covering carpet again, mostly, and making sure that's all clean and clear. So it's all good stuff. Yeah, okay, mate. Yeah, so it's plastic from Amazon that you're using. Yeah, no, it is good stuff, mate. At the end of the day, it's just you've got a bit of time to like put it down, but then it saves you so much messing about at the end. Nothing worse. But even if the floor's just stone floor or a floorboard floor, to have to kind of scrape it at the end it's just time consuming and it don't look great. And you might have to give it a bit of a wash. Is the kind of thing I would do if I've made something messy. There's nothing a customer likes more than when you leave it spotless. And yeah, it's worth the time it takes to put down to just be able to pull it all up at the end. And if, as I say, if you're doing a ceiling and you've got the plastic all taped down, the stilts are much safer on that plastic, as long as it's not soaking wet plastic. But then it shouldn't be soaking wet, should it? No. But because most stilts have rubber feet, if you've got a dust sheet and it's just lying there, it's so easy for a rubber feet to catch inside a dust sheet, and over you go. And I'm pleased to say, up to this evening anyway, I have not come off my stilts, and I've had stilts for as long as I can remember. They were a really good quality pair, it cost me about 400 quid, but they're getting to a stage now where I really need to buy a new pair. I've only ever had one pair of stilts, and that was them Dura stilts. They were from the USA, but now one of the springs has popped on one of them as well. I think you can buy replacement springs, but you know, they've had some different straps on them. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to go, hello, you know what, yes, treat yourself, if there's enough work coming in, obviously. Dear. James, do you protect the stairs using dust sheets when you're working upstairs usually, or do you just take your shoes off wearing up and down? I tend to, if I'm not working in the stairwell, I tend to make sure I've got all the messy stuff, all my bags and all the gear basically up in the room I'm working in, if it's a bedroom upstairs. And 9 times out of 10, I'm just really careful to either make sure my shoes are clean, I have a different pair of shoes, or take them off and just do the old socks up and down the stairs. I've done that often, and then when I'm packing the car, my shoes are full of clumped up plaster on the bottom, and I think I don't want to be treading that in the carpet or in the road outside. Nothing looks worse than pink footsteps plopping down the road towards your car, to the back of your car, and people must hate it, and neighbours and stuff, and I think, oh, flipping hell, they've had some work done next door. There's pink footprints all over the place, and it looks terrible, and it can't be great. Evening, Benson, nice to see you, mate. Yeah, it can't be great to have that. So often I've packed my. You can see me packing my van in my socks, because I ain't got time to mess about with my shoes. I haven't brought a spare pair of clean shoes to put on. So yeah, I'll just whip them off and pack me motor with Immy socks. So if you ever see a plasterer packing his motor in his socks, it'll probably be me. Oh dear. Ah, cheers. But yeah, but it would be, I suppose, sensible if you've got one set of like a stair runner dust sheet that you just put down for walking up and down the stairs, so you haven't got to worry about taking your shoes off, whatever. The only trouble is, that's good practice, but the only trouble is I will buy one of those and I'll think I'm just going to use that for walking up and down the staircase when I'm doing the bedroom upstairs. And then the next whole stairs and landing job I get, I think, oh, I need to cover the stairs. And obviously I'm not going to do plastic on every step, unless I've got some roll and stroll, but again I don't want to splash out for that, and that's a pain to stick to the stairs. It's never quite wide enough, and you've got to put 2 lots down, which obviously costs more money and uses up more stuff. Yeah, so then I'll be doing the whole stairs and landing, and I think, oh, I've got that dust sheet for the stairs, haven't I? Oh, I'll use that. And of course then that gets blobs of plaster and stuff on it because I'm plastering the stairwell wall. And kind of back to square one, so yeah, so generally I don't have a dust sheet to put up the stairs. But yeah, I'm very careful when I'm on my jobs, because it's pointless doing a job for X amount of money and then you possibly do some damage or in the customer's eyes, like wreck their carpet or their new carpet or their decor or whatever. You just got to be careful on all jobs, but domestic jobs particularly, especially. Otherwise, it can end up costing you more than you're getting paid for the job, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. How are we doing for time? 8:18. We'll go up to about 8:30, which is the usual. Start about 7, finish about 8:30, and then we'll call it a night. Ian, any idea if multi-finish, same as skim coat in Ireland, it goes on and dries grey instead of that pinkish colour in the UK? I think the skim coat, the skim coat in Ireland is mostly the Carlite, and I think that's quite a white plaster now. Is it Carlite? Not multi-finish, is it? Just a Carlite finish. But they are different. The multi don't seem to use. I know Mark never seems to be using multi-finish. It's always some kind of Carlite finish or what's the name of the other one that is white more or less? Pure finish, is it? Mark, I know. Really. Sorry, and yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, no, it is slightly different. Actually, I think the stuff that you've got over there is better than multi. I mean, I used to use for floating and setting back in the good old days. It was much. It was nice to float. If you had a brick wall, to float that with browning. Guys that don't know, that was the other bonding or browning. In the days when you used to mix it up in a bathtub. When you put bonding into a bathtub, you had a rake and a shovel. This is before whisks, to knock it up and get the lumps out and whatever, and to mix it, or your labourer preferably. And it's bonding would kind of sink into the water and it's very sticky but easy to mix. Well, quite easy to mix. Browning, on the other hand, you'd put that in and it would float on top of the water until you started raking it in. And it was no good. You couldn't stick to concrete or anything like that. It was only good for brickwork. And what used to happen on sites, because we used to do site work then, is any concrete lintels, beams, pillars, they were all bonded out with bonding, and then in between those, brickwork was done with browning. And the only thing I remember that was Carlite finish then. There was no multi-finish. Either Carlite or Seraphite, however you want to pronounce it, over the top of browning. It was the smoothest, lovely. It was lovely to set on top of browning. That was a little bit more awkward to mix up. Absolutely beautiful to set on top of. We can't get it anymore, as far as I know. So, but yeah, then when the multi-finish came out, the Carlite kind of disappeared from England, or London anyway. But yeah, England as a whole, I think, really. So yeah, quite a few of the guys are into the old speed set, or whatever the new gypsum one's called, but it sounds like it goes off a bit too quick for my liking. Mark, skim coat is closer to the colour like we use in the north. Yeah. Oh, my earphones have just plonked in my ear to tell me that they're not going to last much longer before they cut out, which doesn't really matter. It just means I can't hear the sweet fiddle in the background, or the crowd mumbling and humbling as they have a drink in the Old Hawk Trowel. Yeah. No, I'd love to work with a bag of Carlite again, Mark, to be honest with you. Just Carlite finish, not. But say you literally can't get it anymore, or not. You can't just walk into a shop and buy it. It's all multi-finish, all finish, bonding, and hard wall. Yeah. Oh yeah, they're all gyprock jobs, aren't they? At the end of the day, unless you flipping that made good stuff. I can't believe that the company that makes that or made it is still going. Can flog it. That was the only thing when the few shortages that hit in before the old coronavirus. There was a few. There was an issue at British Gypsum where they stockpiled a load of gear because they were going to update a lot of their machinery that they use for processing plaster and plasterboards, and apparently it ended up taking a lot longer, and they hadn't stockpiled enough gear, and suddenly you couldn't get plaster anywhere, and guys were kind of like fighting to rush to wherever the nearest place was that had it. And I say this was long before COVID issues and stuff like that, and that was that was an awful time. And a lot of places weren't restricting what they sold, so they'd get a lorry load of stuff coming, and some building company with a lorry would pull in there and purchase the whole lot and leave us little guys. I only want a few bags to get a day's work bashed out with nothing. So that wasn't. And I think even then you couldn't get the made good stuff that seemed to be on the shelves when there was a bit of a rarity because of the old lockdowns and stuff. Once work started getting back on the go, it's dreadful stuff. It's like a sort of a one-coat plaster that they use on the continent, but I think not as good. And the old one-coat, they tried that here. Oh, I can't remember if it was 80s or 90s now. And if you got the hang of it, it's great stuff because there's no like top coat, next coat. Oh, snap. Oh, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it was. If you got the hang of it, it was great. But then they stopped doing it because it wasn't popular enough for no one was buying it, or not enough people were buying it for it to be profitable for the company. Oh. Nothing worse than a sneeze that doesn't want to come out. What's that, Mark? Gyprock and British Gypsum are both owned by St. Gobain. Yeah, it's just one big. A lot of these things, mate, it's always just one big umbrella company that owns the whole flipping kit and caboodle, the stuff. Without doubt. Oh dear. Oh, I'm getting a bit sleepy. Only because my a couple of days, the 3 days that my missus works, she goes into town. Oh, excuse me, she goes into town, and to avoid the traffic, she goes into town. She gets up about 5:30, which is today. And so I think, well, if you're getting up, I might as well get up as well. So I've been up since about 5:30 this morning, and now I'm starting to feel it. It's been quite a long day. As I did some plastering, filmed that, got back in time to jump in the shower, do a bit of after plasterer this evening, which is always a pleasure. And so I'm going to have some dinner in a minute and then probably fall asleep in front of the telly. But we'll see how it goes. If you've just come along here, I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is Ask the Plasterer, and welcome to Ye Olde Hawk Trowel Community Boozer, where me and a mass of other plasterers and newbies and DIYers get together for a bit of a chat all plastering related. You can ask questions, you can call in. Yeah, we meet here once a fortnight on a Monday from 7 o'clock to about 8:30. And it goes out as a video after the live stream finishes, and it also goes out as a podcast a couple of days later, all going well, and if I don't forget to do that. Right, how are we doing? Okay, if nobody's got any other questions this evening, we're coming up to nearly 8:30, and I think I will call it an evening, boys and girls. Absolutely, thank you so much for the pleasure of your company. Everyone that's come along, I can never remember everybody's names. Hold on a second. Hold on. Thanks, yeah, Jamie, Tara, Stuart, Trowel Talk, Kenny, Richard, Jamie, again, another different Jamie YouTube, Mark, Scott Grant, Martin, Judy, over there. Tell Ashley, Judy, tell your man I want a sick note from him for not being here tonight. Josh Brown, Silver, yeah, and everyone else that knows me, thanks for coming along this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will see you in my next video, most likely, yeah, and or back here in a fortnight's time on Monday evening, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it already. Yay! So, as the plasterer comes to the end for another day. But, yep, we'll be back in, say, in a fortnight's time at 7 o'clock. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for your company. Thanks for joining us at Ye Olde Hawk Trowel, Community Boozer. And, yeah, what else can I say? It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, boys and girls. And I'll see you, I might see you on Trowel Talk as well. If you're not signed up to Trowel Talk, get on there and sort that out. If you're not subscribed to my channel, sort that out. And if you want to buy me a beer, there's a link somewhere on my channel. And I appreciate that. I appreciate it very much. Right, I'll just leave you with some sunsets and music, and you can go and do what you like. Now, go and relax for the rest of the evening. There might be something better on the telly now, worth watching. Or have an early night, set you up for tomorrow. Before you know it, it'll be the middle of the week, and then before you know it, it'll be Friday. Yay! He must be asleep, Judy. Absolutely. Right, I'm out of here. I'm going to go and have my dinner. I will say hello to the wife again. Bye for now.